microphones are either turned off or on stun or some other way immobilized.
You need to pick up the microphone.
They need to pick up a microphone, and we have a question right here in the front. Right here.
My name is Vijay Saswal with IACF. I guess one observation, very short observation. I feel there are obviously nuclear proliferation policymakers looking at it from a very sectarian point of view, and I can appreciate their perspective. And then there's the other side, which is taking a holistic view of, everything that goes in when the nation makes its security initiatives. And I think this debate will probably continue until maybe somebody is going to say there that the Department of Energy is out with the with the new Global Nuclear Energy initiative, and there will be policy folks can all put their energies there, and maybe this thing will go through. But my question is to Ambassador Kalochi, since you're what I consider a master in cooperative agreements that come under the radar and don't need the approval of the U.S. Congress. The question to you, sir, is would a change in the nuclear suppliers group for the group members to entertain trade with India on civilian nuclear program, does that require in any way approval by the U.S. Congress? Thank you.
To my knowledge, not. I can't imagine why it would. If somebody wishes to correct me on the panel or elsewhere, then. But if in other words, the United States were to say that within the London Nuclear Suppliers Group, that it was going to adopt a different policy, would it have to seek congressional approval? I wouldn't have thought so. Does anybody want to correct me?
Vijay, the U.S. nuclear cooperation with India does require legislative changes.
Yes, no, but we're not, there's a U.S. law, but you're not talking about U.S. law. He's not talking about U.S. law, right?
They're
Other countries.
They're related in the sense that the NSG is a voluntary body that operates by consensus.
Yeah.
So you've got to get buy-in of all of the members, including the U.S., and if the U.S. doesn't have the legal capacity to give its approval, then I think there's an issue. George, would that be your...
But that's not the question, is it?
That's not the question.
Can
France say it, yeah.
More clarification. If India and U.S. have not yet signed a nuclear cooperative agreement, which they will need to sign, and they will need to sign an umbrella agreement of some sort eventually to conduct trade between them. Before signing that agreement, can they actually entertain an executive order from the president saying, if when the debate takes place at the nuclear suppliers group, U.S. will basically keep quiet? Can they do that?
Again, I can't speak ex cathedra about this, but what the United States says in the context of the Nuclear Suppliers Group, it is free to say. What it does as a matter of policy is if it is not consistent with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Act, it would have to be made consistent. So U.S. behavior, apart from the position it takes in the Suppliers Group, is subject to U.S. law and would require a change if behavior was going to change.
Will it abstain?
Vijay, I don't think this is going to get you terribly far, because what you've posed, I think, is a policy question and not a legal one. And I think it would be a policy question in which it would be extremely difficult for the United States to participate in an NSG decision that would authorize others to do something that is illegal for the U.S. to do.
But
Go ahead, George.
there is a legal issue, and may be irrelevant because Dr. Arunachalem said India has no interest in getting French nuclear technology. But if that were to change, France is under legal requirement to abide by the Nuclear Suppliers Group. In other words, the European Union has adopted as its export control laws NSG guidelines, so that France or the UK can't sell nuclear technology to India unless and until the Nuclear Suppliers Group guidelines have been changed, and that requires agreement by all parties in the Nuclear Suppliers Group.
Wouldn't it be ironic if the Europeans were coming to the United States to supply because they couldn't, the reverse of what it was with TerraPower? Young man in the front here, please.
I'm Cliff Singer from the AAAS. And my question has to do with asking India to do a moratorium on fissile materials production, which seems to me politically unrealistic in the Indian context for at least the next few years, and